That's why I need them.
All right, this time I'd like to call this meeting of the Madison Select Board to order on Monday, April 22nd, 2024 at 6:36 p.m. Please join me in saluting the flag. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. Make it noted that Selectman Bean is absent. He should be coming right along. All others are present. Consent agenda, warrant number 30 for 8/24. Payroll register number 15 for 11/24, and payroll register number 16 for 18/24. Looking for a motion to approve those.
I'll make a motion to approve the AP warrants and payroll registers as read.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve the warrants and payroll registers as read. Any questions? Seeing none, all those in favor? All in favor, the motion carries. Letter D, acceptance of the meeting minutes of Select Board meeting of April 8, 2024.
I'll make a motion to accept the select board meeting minutes for April 8th, 2024.
All right, so I was not here and Mr. Moody was not here, correct?
That's correct.
All right, so we have to table that until
Okay,
Mr. Dean shows up.
okay.
My apologies, I should have got that one earlier. All right, letter E, review of the proposal for structural engineering study of the town-owned properties.
You should have two proposals in front of you. The white envelope is Calderwood Engineering, and the booklet is Plymouth Engineering. What we're looking for is to find out their expertise in local buildings, what the cost factor is, if they've done any work in this area before, in the area of central Maine, I mean, and what their proposal is to do the evaluation of the buildings.
All right, so we can take this home and read it.
Yes.
And we'll come back for the next.
Meeting?
Next meeting, because we need that for budget purposes, but,
Yes.
is that reasonable to everyone? Yeah. Okay. All right, moving on. Fiscal year 2023 audit update.
I received the revised draft audit report this afternoon about 4 o'clock. We managed to work through all the issues that the auditor had questions about. And she is going to, once we accept the draft report, it's 108 pages, so I didn't make you all a copy. Once we accept that, then we will be able to get the adjusting entries so that we can, in fact, close out fiscal 23 officially.
We expect that within a month or
Oh, we expect it within 2 weeks at the latest.
2 weeks before. So
Yeah.
sounds good, thank you very much. Any questions? All right, seeing none. Moving on to items of communication, the living well report we have in our folder.
Yes,
Town manager's report on expenses and budget currently at what?
76% right now, so we're a little bit under budget.
Yep.
And I do have one thing that I want to add to that communication that I did not get a chance to put on the agenda, if you'll allow me to.
Yep.
Bangor Savings Bank is offering us a chance to get out of the repurchase agreement that gives us 1.2% interest on any of our deposits that are over $250,000. and put us into what's called an insured cash sweep DDA, which is immediate access, and anything over $250,000 is invested into the IntraFi network. Does that sound familiar to you? Okay, so it's a group of smaller community-type banks that allow other banks to have reciprocal deposits. So if they take $250,000 from our account and put it at a bank in Vermont or New Hampshire, then that bank would put $250,000 from their excess deposits with Bangor Savings. It gives us a higher return. It's going to give us 3.99% interest, which is going to basically increase our interest income by $80,000 to $100,000 a year. So I'd like to get a motion to allow the treasurer, to authorize the treasurer to do that.
I'll make a motion to authorize the treasurer to sign the paperwork for Bangor Savings.
To switch from a repo to an ICR,
Okay, to switch from a repo to an ICR.
or ICS, sorry.
ICS,
All
okay.
right, we have a second?
I'll second
All right, we have any questions? All right, all those in favor? All in favor, the motion carries.
Thank you.
Just under communications again, we have, just to remind the board, we have an ambulance meeting on Wednesday, which is a full board meeting, so we need 3 people. I anticipate I'll be there. Hopefully we can get 3.
It's at 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock at the Anson Town Office. Okay? All right, moving on to letter G, new business. Public forum on Acadia Health acquisition of 2 Old Point Avenue property. Okay, so we have passed out a public forum guideline, and so I'll just read those very quickly. Anyone requesting to speak must be a Madison resident, identify themselves by name, and would also like to know where you live. Each resident speaker will have 3 minutes, and I'll get my trusty stopwatch out to go over that. And would like to, obviously keep it moving. Once you've stated your position, then that is fine. Obviously, no obscene, threatening, or overly repetitive comments will be tolerated by the chairman, and disruptive or disorderly conduct and behavior will not be tolerated. All right, so just so we're clear, we vote on nothing tonight. We take information in, so we're not doing anything. We have at the town office nothing from Acadia Health that says they're doing this or that or whatever they're putting in. So we have no paperwork at this point. So whatever we're told tonight by the people representing them will be information that we've got firsthand here. But we have nothing that the planning board or the code enforcement officer is looking at. So that, I just want to make that clear, okay? We will be respectful and make sure that everybody has their voice, but we also need to understand that there's opinions all over the place here. So some people might agree, some people might disagree, but we just have to make sure that we're respectful with people that are speaking. So I'll let you introduce.
Thank you.
People from here.
The representative from Acadia Health is Adrian Sass. You want to come on up? And I'm going to put you right here on the end of the table if you don't mind. That way you can face both the board and the folks. Adrian came over from Vermont and is a former clinical director. I don't have I didn't write down the background, so, but I will, she's been gracious enough to come and allow us the opportunity to ask questions and get a sense of what exactly is it that Acadia Health is hoping to do at the old Taylor's drugstore building. All yours.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for inviting me. So I'm just going to give you a quick overview of who we are and what we do, and then my hope is that we can just have a conversation. I know that there are a lot of questions and concerns, and I'd really like to be able to answer those for you. So my name is Adrienne Sass. I'm the regional director for Acadia Healthcare. My region is Northern New England, so I have 9 CTCs, which stands for Comprehensive Treatment Centers, and I'm going to use a lot of acronyms. If they get confusing, just let me know. I can also slow down, I speak very quickly. So I have 9 CTCs in Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine. 6 of them are in the state of Maine. And CTCs, that's what we use within Acadia. It is equal to an OTP, which is an outpatient treatment program. That's what the federal government and the state government calls us. An OTP is an organization that is licensed to provide MAT, which is medication-assisted treatment. So for us specifically, that means methadone and Suboxone, coupled with cognitive behavioral therapy. So we provide individual and group counseling, as well as the medication that assists that addiction treatment. In our facilities, you can't get one without the other. So we are not what is historically called a dose and go site. You can't come to us and just receive Suboxone or just receive methadone. You need to be actively engaged in the treatment component of the addiction treatment program. That looks like many different things for many different people. So our services include medication, the individual counseling, the group counseling. We have a medical director who's a doctor on site. We have a physician's assistant or a nurse practitioner on site. We have RNs, we have LPNs, we have nurse case managers and care managers, because many of our patients have co-occurring things happening. So we work really hard to connect them with other healthcare providers in the community. We do a lot of case management in terms of housing, jobs. Oftentimes our patients will come in and meet with our administrative supervisor, and we'll help them apply for main care. So those are all sorts of things that we do on a daily basis. We are a daily dosing site, so for the most part, our patients come to us each and every day. We see them every single day. We are highly regulated by the federal government, the state, and the DEA. We're also CARF accredited, and CARF is the national accrediting body of rehabilitation centers. So we have a lot of regulations, a lot of licensures that we have to maintain and make sure that we are meeting those standards. We also have a rather strict patient code of conduct and what we call our good neighbor policy. We want to be good neighbors, we want to be good members of your community, and we expect the same from our patients. So we have a very low tolerance for shenanigans in the clinic, in the parking lot. You need to, if you violate the good neighbor policy, you are not going to be able to continue treatment with us. So I won't go on forever because I really want to take the time to answer your questions, and I think more about us will come out as we have that conversation. I do just want to take a moment and introduce Catherine Coutu, who is here this evening. She is what we call the SOTA, which is the State Opioid Treatment Authority. So she is your opioid treatment authority for the state of Maine, and she's here this evening. So if you have a state-specific question, she may be able to answer that better than I am, but I feel lucky that she's here this evening as well.
Adrienne, can you repeat her name, please?
Catherine Coutu.
Thank you.
So, is there anybody, we're gonna run questions through me, please, and we will go from there. So if anybody has any questions of, Adrienne? Yes, sir.
One of my major concerns about having a methadone clinic in town.
Oh, I'm sorry. You gotta tell me your name, and you gotta tell me
excuse me,
where
my
you
name is
live.
James Rosado, and I live across the road.
What's that?
James Rosado, I live right across the road.
Oh, over here.
Yeah.
Yes, okay, I got you.
My major concern, and because I've dealt with methadone clinics in the city, is that a lot of people don't follow the rules, and you end up having it leak out into the town itself. And not having a adequate police department at this point that monitors our area on a constant basis, worries are these individuals that are gonna take that stuff and bring it into town and bring it into our backyard. So what are you gonna do to make sure that really doesn't happen?
So, when you say take that stuff, you mean take specifically methadone?
Well, specifically, sometimes, because I've witnessed people on methadone, they can't wait to get home to take it, they take it in town. They don't have sometimes, we live in a small town without transportation.
Sure.
So they're stuck here, they take it here, and they end up, all over the place.
Okay. So we, as a daily dosing site, we provide the medication on site. So medication is administered on site by a medical provider. Usually it's one of our nurses, and it's taken in front of our nurses. So down the road, further into treatment, when we know people are doing well and we're not concerned about what we call diversion, which is basically giving your medication to someone else or taking it as it's not prescribed, then we can talk about what looks more like a prescription. But right up front, it's daily dosing. So medication isn't necessarily leaving with patients, they're taking it on site in front of a nurse, and we're verifying that they have actually adjusted their medication.
So then what's gonna be done for the congestion? Because, these people are gonna be lining up early in the morning in some cases to wait for the facility opens. I've seen that as well.
No, so we work really hard to make sure that we're not being a burden to the community. So, for example, our Waterville clinic, they open earlier in the morning and they have a workers line. So the people who are in the workers line are specifically folks who have to be to work earlier in the morning so that we don't have that congestion, so we don't have a lot of people coming in at, let's say, 6 a.m. It's just the folks who have a job and need to get there. Our Rumford clinic, at one point in time, they opened at 6 a.m. and then they discovered that being a mill town, the shifts start at 5 a.m. So that didn't necessarily work, and we were seeing more people coming in right in the beginning. So our treatment teams got together and they said, we'd actually like to open our doors at 4. So they open at 4 a.m. now, so that the folks who work at the mill can come in and go off to work. So we work really hard to make sure there isn't a line, that there's not a lot of congestion, and we can be very adaptive to what the community needs to make sure that that happens.
All right, anybody else? Yes, up and back. I can't see you there.
Rich Cormier. I live right here in Madison on Main Street. My concern is it's so close to the school. So when you're talking about congestion, the school, the buses, you're opening that early. My concern is it's that close to the school. So, I'm not really in big favor of it being right there in town. I would rather see it somewhere more rural, but that's just the concerns that I have that I've been getting. I'm on the school board, so where you're so close to the school, and you say there'll be no shenanigans, but you can't guarantee that, so.
So we have security staff on site. We also have security cameras both in our clinics and outside of our clinics. So we very closely monitor what's happening on our property. Again, if we're finding that for some reason, and I want to be clear, we're not talking about hundreds of people. If we get 50 patients by the end of the first year, I'll be thrilled. So, we're not talking about mass amounts of people coming at the same time. Many of our patients get main care rides together. So it's not a ton of traffic, but if the school is finding that there's more traffic during, the time frame of 7:15 to 8:15 when the buses are out, and that's problematic, then we just need to have a conversation about that. We can structure our day, we can structure who's dosing when, to make sure that it's meeting the needs of everyone.
All right, so
So, I'm Stacy O'Brien. I live here in town on Pleasant Street, so literally just around the corner from where you are. It's been my experience that people who maybe have problems, don't have transportation, may have housing issues. They may want to move closer to these services. We're in a town where we have a building complex underway because there already is a deficit of housing. So when you say that you work with them for housing, I'd like to hear more about that because it's already an issue in this town. There isn't enough housing. We're building some for people. So I have a business right across the street. I am concerned that it might include homelessness or, people moving to the area that don't have the ability to pay, but, they're looking for the social service. So, yeah, I guess that's my concern, is homelessness and people sleeping. We do outside shows. Am I gonna come into work and I'm gonna be like shooing people out from underneath my stage because they slept there last night?
I wouldn't think so. In my experience, I've been here 6 years. Catherine has worked for the state much longer than that, so I don't know if you have experience with this, but I have never seen an influx of patients moving to where there is a clinic. She's shaking her head.
Yeah, I have not heard of that either.
So that's not something that I have ever seen, so I don't think that.
You mentioned Vermont. There's a lot of people that moved to Barry because that's where all your social services are. And I know this for a fact because I lived in Williamstown. We had a business there. And
Yes, so economic
it went to hell in a handbasket.
Yes, economic housing in the state of Vermont took the homeless population and put them into specific hotels. And they moved people to different towns where that housing was. If the state of Maine chooses to do that, I have no control over that. But my perspective is I have never seen a clinic open and then you've had an influx of homeless people coming in because the clinic is there. So I don't necessarily think that is something that you are going to be dealing with. When I talk about housing, when we have patients who have housing issues, one of the things that we do is try to do case management services to outreach of local organizations who deal with housing to help them find housing. All of our patients have treatment plans, they are revisited regularly, and those are the types of things that you may put on a treatment plan. Like, I'm looking for stable housing, or I'm looking to not have to live with my mother anymore, or whatever it may be. Their goals, in their own words, those are the things that we're going to try to support them with. But as far as an influx of a homeless population, I don't anticipate that. I've never seen that.
Adrian, will you speak to why you selected Madison to begin with, please?
Sure. So we meet with the state regularly, and when we had a meeting with the state, they said to us, we would really like to see something in Somerset County. There's a need and we would really like to see something in this county. And then we talk about specific towns. So 2 or 3 towns were named, Madison was one of them. I take those back to my organization and we do a heat map. So we're looking at where are the overdoses happening, where are the treatment facilities, and where are the gaps. And then we layer in the zip code map of our current and existing patients. So when we did that, we see that 250 of our patients from the Waterville Clinic are from Somerset County, and they are traveling every day to Waterville. And of those 250, 150 of them live in the Madison area. So that is how we came to the conclusion that this would be a location where we wanted to put a facility. So in thinking of that, could a facility bring in new patients? Yes. But really, most likely, 150 of your neighbors are already accessing treatment, they're already in active recovery, and they're traveling long distances every single day to maintain that. So we're trying to reduce the barrier so that they don't have to make that 45-minute trip each way, every single day. And you know, they're already doing the work. We want to help them do the work and make it easier for them to do it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Yes, ma'am in the back? I can't see this, so.
Sorry, my name is Harley, I just got a house on Perkins Street in Madison. I work in healthcare right now, so I do understand the need for this kind of medication and putting in the variables. But as well as I have a daughter who's about 1.5 years, which we enjoy playing out on the street, and we live walking distance from where this is gonna go. So my main question is, after dosing your patients, I understand that there's side effects to these sort of medications that are being handed out. Is there any sort of waiting period time that they have to stay in the facility? So if they get dizziness, if something like that happens, they're not behind the wheel of a vehicle or somewhere on the street where this is happening that can put our kids or anyone that is in the community at risk?
No, I think that's a really valid question. I think there are always concerns when we're talking about a controlled substance. But we have to remember that this is a prescribed medication, just like any other medicine in your medicine cabinet. And when taken appropriately, it's not going to get someone, quote unquote, high. That's not the intention of the medication. So as long as you're taking your medication as prescribed, no, it should not be making people it seem intoxicated or high.
John?
Hello, my name is John Martins. I live on the River Road in Madison. A lot of you know me, most of you probably don't. I live to keep to myself on the River Road, raising my family. And I got a statement more than a question.
Yep, go ahead. Hey, 3 minutes, John.
All right, it's not that time.
All right, I got it.
Thank you, ladies, for being here, and thank you for what you're doing, truly. These people that need this help from people like yourselves, it's very important that you guys are there for them. And it's important for us as a community to be there for them as well. Addiction is nothing foreign to me. I've seen it in my family, I've seen it in my friends, and it's tragic. It's a very tragic thing that these people go through. And we have to be there for them. I oppose what's happening or going to happen there in Madison. I have children still at school. My concerns are very, very deep. And only because I know what the residuals are of what you guys do. And there's a lot of stuff that you just said that I don't agree with. I respectfully disagree with you. They do get high. They actually, when they leave your clinic, they actually go seeking for more methadone. That's a lot of times what happens. Folks, it'll only take you 10 minutes to look through a phone. You look through your phones and you'll see the travesty of what takes place when these people leave these methadone clinics. We have to be there in support. They're choosing to purchase this thing in the middle of our town, the only corner we have in our town, when there's so much property on Route 401. It's like, we need to help these people, but on the only corner of our town, it shouldn't be happening, in my opinion.
Yes.
The last time when we had a meeting, Tim was there, he spoke about us not being up in an uproar about what's happening because we didn't know what was going to take place here. Anybody with a conscience knew what was going to take place. So they tried to hold the reins back on us until they wanted the contract. So here we are in a position to where they're going to use whatever it takes to be able to move this forward due to contracts they have. And respectfully to you, when you said that you'd be thrilled if there was only 50 people or 150 that went, I'd be thrilled if none went. 0. So in saying that, I'm not much of a speaker, but when the rubber meets the road, and I hope our selectmen, our manager, but most of all, the town, we govern ourselves. And it's gonna take money to fight this thing. And as a community, if you're hearing me out there, I myself will put $5,000 of my own money to get a lawyer, and I hope you guys do too, to be able to fight what's gonna happen here. Hopefully they make a conscious decision and see that we don't agree with it. The maple syrup company was cheaper than that company.
Okay, John, I gotta stop you.
So please just, my name's John Martins, seek after me, and $5,000, anybody else put money up, and
Okay,
we
John,
gotta
that's
fight
good.
this thing.
Is there anybody else that has not asked a question? Yes, ma'am.
My name is Lisa Horrigan. I live on Old County Road. My partner and I moved from where we were in Connecticut to Maine to get away from this kind of thing. We were in a very nasty little town. It was the bottom of the list for everything in Connecticut. Drugs, crime. Every night you get your gunfire. And it all had to do with gangs and drugs. I'm not opposed to helping people. Go buy the maple syrup company. We'd like to know that the town government here listens to the people. We already know the state government doesn't. So please, listen to the people. Don't be like Connecticut.
All right, anybody that has not asked a question? Yes.
Hi, I'm Joyce Lawrence. I live at Perkins Street. It's right around the corner from where you're intending to do this business. My major concern is how close it is, right in the center of town. There's other businesses, other places that you could have put this that is more on the outskirts of town. What about the old veterinary clinic in the business park in Madison? That might be a better location. Aren't they building a new one? I just found out that they're building a new veterinary clinic. That building is empty. Why not out there on the outskirts? Instead, you choose to do it right in town, right where the basketball court is, where the kids play. Kids walk around that corner at all hours of the day. They go to school, they play. I have a 4-year-old and a 14-year-old. I also am no stranger to addiction. It has plagued my family for as long as I can remember. It's a very touchy subject, and I do want to help people. I know that they need the help, but not right there in the center of our town where it's going to build a big name. There is going to be a lot of traffic. There is going to be a lot of repercussions. There is going to be a lot of bad things that happen. You can say all the good stuff that you want, and it does help people. I do believe that. Certain people get the help that they want and they need, but right there is not the right location for it at all. There is many other locations that would be better suited to help people like this. It has been said before, we have no police department. You're gonna put it in a town with no police department, and kids, they're everywhere. It's not the right location is the biggest thing. I also have a statement that I would like to read from my sister-in-law, and Melody Price, and she lives on John Street. She is down visiting her son, her other son in South Carolina. And she writes, as a mother of an addict, I have very mixed feelings about this. This is a trade-off from a street dealer to a government dealer. The money would be better spent where it is truly needed, and that is on rehab facilities. My son got his Suboxone prescription on a Saturday and died of a fentanyl poisoning on Monday. Addicts learn very quickly how to play the game with these meds. And anyone who has been aware of that knows that. They play a game. Some of them may get help, but a lot of them learn how to manipulate the system. That being said, we are not here to discuss the drawbacks of the treatment. So to the point, I don't think such a site in the center of our town is the image Madison wants to project. The location will certainly raise curiosity in children on a subject that they are too young to comprehend. Melody Price.
All right, thank you, Joyce. Okay, anybody else who has not asked a question? Oh, I guess you haven't.
Hi, I'm Frida. I live just across the street.
I'm sorry, I missed the name.
Frida.
Frida, thank you.
One of my concerns is these people going to Waterville. If it's right on Main Street, the people's gonna see them going in. What about embarrassment issues there? And shame, and everybody knowing that they have an issue? It's not gonna be easy to cover up when people are taking pictures.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with you. I don't have an answer for that. I can tell you that, again, a lot of our patients live in this community, and they're talking about it. They're in our clinics. They're having the conversations. They're saying, I don't know that I want to go to the public forum because I don't know that how people will react if I come forward and say, I'm your trusted healthcare provider for the past 10 years and I am in active recovery. And that's really unfortunate. I mean, think about that. Think about not feeling comfortable enough to go to a doctor in your own town because you're afraid that your neighbors are going to judge you.
And you think this is gonna help that?
So I don't know. I think that addiction has always lived in the shadows, and I understand why. However, everybody knows somebody who has loved someone or lost someone to addiction, and we have to start talking about it, and we have to start treating them like human beings and giving them the respect that they deserve and the privacy and the ability to get the help that they're trying to seek. And again, all and I say me, but I think those of us who work in this field are trying to do is reduce the barriers to access that we have, as a community, thrown up over years and years of stigma. And
I'm not saying
Okay, well,
not to do
wait.
this.
Let her finish.
no, that's really, I appreciate that, but that's really it. And I do think it will take time, and it will take a couple of really brave people to come forward, and I think that they're out there, and want to go to treatment in their own community.
All right, do you have a follow-up?
Yes, I'm not saying I don't want it here, because I know it's here. You know, on almost every street, there's a child. But there's other buildings, honey. There's other buildings.
I mean, at this point, I don't have any say over the building or where that even is in the contracting process.
Who does?
Yeah, who does?
Okay, hold on. Okay, Josh?
Adrian, I'm just curious, and believe me, I totally am for what you guys are doing, and it does need to come to the forefront, we all know that. But was there any consideration given when looking at sites to that site in the middle of town, as we've all said, near a playground and a school? And I know the stigma is there, and it's going to be there no matter what, or where it's located. And you talk about the people needing some privacy. Well, that's certainly not gonna give anybody any privacy, because it's in the middle of town, everyone's gonna be watching. And I really feel that there are other locations in town, and obviously your numbers indicate that we need something, for sure. But did they consider that when they looked at that building? In all honesty, I wouldn't, if I were in their position, I would have shied away from something like that.
I don't know what was considered in terms of specific real estate locations. I know that when the company looks at locations, we always factor in nearest school, nearest daycare, and there are certain.
Good job.
No,
Alright, so now,
not, are you saying that you look for places that are near those places, or are you
No,
looking
no,
for
they
places?
look at distance from,
Okay, just,
Yeah.
thank you for the clarification.
yes.
okay, up and back, sir.
Thank you, thank you.
My name's Tim. I live over on Furnace Street, just around the corner. My biggest concern is the safety for my kids. I have a special needs student that walks to school daily and walks home. I get it. I'm had my EMT license. I've seen it. I know the community needs it. That's not the right place. Looking forward for the town, putting this in the center of town, families my age, younger, that are looking to move out of southern Maine, they're not coming here with that in the center. This community is gonna die. I moved to Madison from North Wyndham to get away from this crap. And it's not gonna, I'm gonna have to move again because I'm not gonna put my kids through that. Seeing that every day, no.
Okay, Joyce, anything different than what you said?
Just real quick, one thing. Our, kids that live within a mile of the school are forced to walk. So they have to walk, most of them, that intersection where you're putting that healthcare facility. That, government, I won't go anywhere else, but it's a danger. And it's gonna destroy our community to have it right there in the center. It's not gonna help anybody come out and be brave like you're saying. It's not gonna do that. It's gonna ruin our town, and it's gonna disrupt our community, and it's gonna be a terrible thing for our kids to have to walk by every single day, to and from school, to get to the basketball court, to get to the playground, to get anywhere that the few limited things that our kids have in this town. And we're catering to people who, there's multiple places that they could be, other than right in the center of our town. It's a most terrible decision that you could make. Hopefully people choose the right thing, because this is gonna just destroy our community.
Okay, Jim,
It's
you
not
have
gonna
one more?
help anyway.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just one question, is that, I've had dealings with this in the city. That's one of the reasons why I moved. And, one of the big issues that occurred was property values went down.
Yeah.
All right, that's another concern that I have. Right in the middle of town, I mean, everybody can see, it's not hidden, it really isn't the way of, kind of hiding it, which affects everybody else in town. And it does affect the property values in town as well. And again, not having the police department to regulate things, because not everybody follows the rules, I've seen that as well. That's my major concern.
Thank you.
That's all I'm gonna reiterate again.
Yes.
I'm Tom O'Brien, I live on Pleasant Street, right around the corner from the building in question. My wife and I own Somerset Abbey, which is right across the street from the proposed site for the clinic. And I have a two-part question that I'd like to ask you. How much money have you budgeted for the extra services that are gonna be needed in town, such as sheriff coverage, ambulance, and all of the social needs that are gonna be created by the facility being in town? And if you haven't budgeted any, can you give us a sense of what that, typically you have 9 locations, how that would affect the budget in the town, and what it would cost, what the additional services are?
I guess I don't understand what you mean by the additional, so I can tell you that the majority of emergency service phone calls that my clinics place are not addiction related. They are other healthcare emergencies. So people who are experiencing a stroke or a heart attack who would normally have medical emergencies in their own home, because we see them every day, we see that. We know it's happening because we have a team of medical providers, and we're able to make those phone calls before they pass out in their own homes. That is the majority of the phone calls to emergency services that we make. We have very little police involvement.
Well, I know you have surveillance on your property.
Yes.
Just outside your property, there are several other businesses in town. I'm not gonna have surveillance on my property but we have a tent behind our building that we do events in the summer. My concern is having some of your patients there and me needing to spend money to beef up security or do different things in town. That's my biggest
No,
concern.
I understand that. Again, I've never seen that. So I've never seen,
You don't see that people get sleepy from taking their medication?
no, so again, it's similar to, we are not providing intravenous medication, we are not injecting medication into anyone's bloodstream, you are taking an oral medication just like you take blood pressure medication or heart disease medication, and it is absorbed into your system, so no, we don't see people on our premise taking their medication and then instantly becoming intoxicated, which is I think what you're alluding to, and going outside and passing out. That's not,
Sleepy, spacey?
yeah, that,
Nodding out, yeah, there's a lot of that.
No.
People
Okay,
that need
remember
to
what,
that.
keep it here, please.
so that has
Alright,
not
so-
been our experience. I've not seen that. It sounds like Catherine has not seen that statewide. So that's not been a concern.
Okay, I have
Tom,
a
all set?
follow-up question.
Follow up?
What do you do to avoid the issues from spitback? And this is a very gross thing, I hate to bring it up in public. Do you know what that is?
You're talking about diverting medication, so putting like a pill in your mouth and giving
Taking
yourself,
it out
okay.
and selling it to someone
Yeah.
else?
So we don't use pills. We use
How do you-
liquid methadone. So patients come in, they receive their medication from a nurse, they drink their medication, they are then required to fill their cup with water, drink the water, and have a conversation with the nurse. Then they are allowed to leave the dosing area.
Good answer.
All right, any other questions? Yes.
My name is Jeff Ireland, I live on Bean Street, I own a business in town as well. And I am fully cognizant of the need for the services. I have some familial experience with addiction. And I'm gonna ask a question that's gonna sound insensitive to some. I'm not in agreement with it being in the middle of town. My question is, does Acadia Health pay property tax, or are they excused from property tax? So we're talking about a piece of property valued at somewhere around $500,000 that's potentially being taken off the tax rolls. As someone who owns several properties in Madison, pays lots of property taxes, I'm concerned about the potential for the change in that, if that being removed from tax rolls has been on.
So do you know the answer to that? So I'm not a real estate agent. I believe we pay property tax on all of our properties. Is
Yeah,
there a
so they are
reason-
not considered a not-for-profit, so they would be paying property tax.
All right, John, one last time, real
Yeah,
quick.
just for you, sir.
Yes.
And the town manager, on the moratorium, has anything been started on that?
I have not started anything, I don't believe.
If not, can I like motion that a moratorium gets started?
Not here you can't.
Okay.
I would say if you wanted to, you could put together a petition to start that and bring that to us.
Okay.
I mean, you gotta remember, we got two sides of every story here, right? I mean, there's two sides of every pancake, so we have both sides we have to look at.
Of course.
And really, we're gonna follow our rules that we have set up for any business. This is a private sale, all right? This isn't the town buying it.
Right.
So we have to be cognizant of that also, and we have to follow the rules that are in place within our policies, not policies, code books.
Yeah.
So with the code enforcement officer and our planning board, we will get a better picture of what's going to be happening and what we can do either way.
Sure, I understand that. And the last time we were here was 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, whatever it was. We talked about the moratorium, and I didn't hear from you for 2 weeks, this town manager, and nothing, I haven't heard nothing. And now time keeps going on, right? So now they're gonna close on this thing. And I think that's like, if we're pushing the ball like that slow, they're obviously gonna be able to complete it, and we're gonna be like, we can't do anything, because now it's gonna look like discrimination. Well, I'm sorry.
We're already at that phase, John, and that's why we were not able to do a moratorium. I've been in touch with MMA Legal, I've been in touch with our town attorney. To put a moratorium on it, or try to put a moratorium on it now, would absolutely end up in a legal battle, and we'd be facing a discriminatory case
And-
against a private, I understand you're putting money,
Respectfully, as a town
that's
person,
irrelevant.
I
Let me
will take
finish,
on the
please let me
discrimination
finish.
case.
Okay, let me finish. So we would be facing a legal battle against interfering with a private real estate transaction over which we have no jurisdiction. And that is the reason. This is not town property. The town is not a party to this transaction. We have no dog in the fight other than the moral issue that we're presented with tonight.
And who are we gonna present that to that we can put the brakes on this? 'Cause
That
the
would
way
be
you-
Acadia Health.
That doesn't make any sense to me, I'm sorry, it's my ignorance
Yes.
getting away.
Okay.
Well, then
John,
you can.
Second, hold on. As I said, Johnny, if you get together a petition, we'll entertain a petition, for a moratorium, but I mean, I think that we have not had ever people who want to put rules in place for property. Very few do we have. And it's a problem, because if you get to a point where you don't want something, then you don't have any rules to go and stop anything.
Right.
And we don't have, I mean, you bring up zoning, we bring up zoning and people go into hysterics. The old time Madison people go into hysterics, and I'm one of them, I wanna do anything I can with my property, but I don't want anything next to my property. And so we've had that issue forever and ever and ever. I mean, people who are, Moody, you can chime in anytime on that type of thing, because you're one of the old timers, but I didn't mean to discriminate, but, so I mean, that's kind of where we stand. We have to go by the rules that we have set up for us.
Right, I understand
And
that.
adding rules, secondhand, get us in a little bit of trouble. I mean,
Sure,
and,
it
and I think,
potentially could get us in trouble, right?
potentially, yep,
Right,
potentially.
so I'd be
Yep.
willing to take a gamble on the potential for the sake of that case. Simple as that. Like discrimination, we're gonna look at fighting discrimination because we did something that we weren't supposed to do. Or I'm gonna have to mourn with my townsfolk, or they're gonna have to mourn with me because their father, son, daughter got killed because somebody fell asleep behind the wheel. And it's all over it happens in our state all the time, Mr. V.
Yep.
Now, what is the better of two evils? I'd be willing to lose on discrimination than have this in our town where we're gonna have to mourn eventually. It's foolishness. So now we're in a position to where it sounds like what Ms. Town Manager says, we really can't do anything. But now, I believe we govern ourselves, and that's truly my opinion.
Yeah.
And so now we can say we don't want it, just like Jeff has to go around and say you've got too many junk cars in your driveway. Those are rules that are in place, right?
Right, those are rules that are in
This
place.
has not presented itself yet to us. So this is new. It's kind of like the strip clubs. We didn't want the strip clubs, what happened? It didn't happen, right? So now, we're in kind of the same position, but now when Tim was sitting there and he said, don't go up in arms and an uproar. Now, if somebody would have started an uproar then, maybe we wouldn't be here now, because the moratorium would have took place that day.
Yeah.
Right? So now 6 weeks went by, or 2 months, whatever it is, and that ball just keeps rolling the direction where I'm hearing we can't do nothing about it, but we can. We can say no and break the rules, right? Now what's gonna happen? We have our lawyer, I believe we have one, we go to court, we fight discrimination. If they wanna fight that hard for it, then it just shows that there's a lot more behind it than the health of people. It shows that it's all about, and I don't wanna get negative, okay? We all have common sense here. And that's truly my opinion, and we really, Mr. V, we have to do something about this. It's like, look,
Alright,
just
so
have to
that's, so
stop.
I'm gonna stop you there. As I said, we're not making any votes here, we're done with questions for right now. We have our comments, except Mr. Moody. I have to give him a chance to talk, he hasn't talked yet.
I feel kind of obligated to say something,
Okay, let's listen, please.
due to the fact that, not just listening to you people out here sitting in the audience, but I've had a number of people come to me with concerns, and their concerns are exactly what you people are saying right now. What I would like to say to you, ma'am, is I understand where you're coming from. I understand what you're trying to do. I was a law enforcement officer for 37 years. I've seen more than my share of it. It is needed, yes. What we're talking about here is just one thing, location.
Right.
Just location. I haven't listened to anything outside this room or inside this room saying they don't want it in their town. They say location. Now, to make something that you're trying to do work, you have to have what is called as voluntary compliance. Voluntary compliance is very simple. If the people want it, it'll work. If the people don't want it, and I don't care what it is, if it's a law or anything, it's not going to work. My hope is that you people that are involved in this will take this back to your superiors and say that we have been to Madison and there is very much unrest there. I mean, this is quite a crowd for this meeting to have in this town of this size. This is quite a crowd. So you can see that there's a great concern. And I, for one, cannot understand if you do not take this back, or the people that are wanting to put this in process don't understand how strong that the majority of this town does not want this location. And the key word, again, is location. You know, they have even come up with other alternative places to go and don't have a problem. You know, when you start talking about schools in a short distance from these types of places, when you start talking about two things, children and money, you got people's attention right away. More so with the children. I for one, wish that I could initiate something to divert you people from the corner of our intersection in the town. But until we can have something or are made aware by the research that our town manager has done of anything that we can do to divert this, not stop it, but divert this from the middle of the town. I hope that, I don't know why anybody, once they understand how the majority of this town feels, would want to go ahead and still initiate this location. I just hope, because it's gonna make the town a better place. The town is gonna feel much better. The town is gonna support you people because it's needed, there's no question about that. But then again, we're talking location. It is a poor place, and I'm sure I, for one on the board, whatever I can do to change the location, again, the word location, I will do everything I can. But, you know, I applaud you. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, and thank you, Adrian, for coming in, and Kathy? Catherine, okay, thank you very much for being with us. All right?
Adrian, can you hang out, and I want to talk to you after?
Yeah.
All right, looking at number 2, approval of request to use the Old Point Avenue meeting room from the Kennebec Valley Quilters and MAA TV Club.
Yes. I just want to make sure, I wasn't sure if I had the authority to say yes, that they could use the meeting room, or if that was the Board of Selectmen that needed to approve that. They're signing in using their, the building policy, building use policy that you adopted last fall.
I would say follow that and go with it.
So it doesn't need a motion, but
If you feel comfortable with it, go
Yep.
for it.
Okay.
All right, number 3, Somerset Community TV 11, request for pass-through of franchise fees.
Find that. So, Somerset Community TV, as I understand it, is looking for the fees, the franchise fees that come directly from Beeline Cable to the town to, instead of passing through the town, to actually go straight to Channel 11 Board of Directors. I have, this is based on the letter, you all have it in front of you, I think. Okay.
So is that how the other towns have it? Is that how it works with other towns?
I don't know. I can research that if you'd like.
Yeah, I'd like to. Randy, excuse me. Randy?
Yeah, I can answer that. That is what they do.
They just go directly to the cable TV?
I think Skowhegan makes us bill them, but yeah.
So that's what you guys, that's what is done right now with us?
Yes.
We bill them?
No, they don't bill us. We just, on a, like a quarterly basis, we will turn over to Channel 11 anything that is accumulated,
The fees that have come in.
the fees that have come in.
So I guess what is the difference?
The difference is instead of going through the town, it goes directly to Channel 11. They get the money a little bit sooner.
Alright, so if we look for a motion to do that.
I'll make that the motion, Mr. Chairman,
Okay.
that the request for pass-through go through franchise fees.
Alright, so we have a motion and a second to take the franchise fees and pass them through to Somerset Community TV Channel 11. Any questions on that? Seeing none, all those in favor? All in favor, the motion carries. Number 4, update Charter 742, Treasurer's Disbursement Warrants, signatures, individual board member authorized to act.
I came across this in the ordinances that it says, current Board of Selectmen, the Selectmen in office at the time of execution of this policy are George Elias, Albert Venziano, Robert Agopian, Bruce Christo, and Keith Blackwell.
Holy mackerel.
I think we need to update it.
Yeah, I say we probably better.
So, I'm looking for a motion to update it with the current board.
I'll make a motion that we update chapter 742 dash 4 to reflect the. I'll second that.
All right, we have a motion and a second to update disbursement, treasurer's disbursement warrants 742-4 to the current board. Any questions? Seeing none, all those in favor? All in favor, the motion carries. All right, citizens' concern, other than the topic we just talked about. Yes, sir.
This is a concern I've been bringing up for a while. Old Point Avenue, for some reason now we're having truckers coming through here, jake braking, 4:30 in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, in the afternoon. I mean, is there any way we could put up a sign, coming off of 201 maybe, and coming down after you get off of the back end over there to stop jake braking in town? They're also coming through here going really fast as well, not paying attention to the 25-mile-an-hour sign.
Old Point Avenue, right?
Yeah, Old Point Avenue, yeah.
Okay.
I know this is a state road.
201A we're talking
Yeah,
about. 'Cause I believe
201A,
you
right.
said 201, and I believe on 148 there is a sign somewhere.
On 148 up and up?
148 there is somewhere.
Okay, well, we need one down here, because they come here all hours of the night now, jake braking. They come, it could be the afternoon, it could be the morning, I mean, all day.
You gotta remember that's.
I've made
that's
complaints
just-
to the sheriff department about it,
Yeah, just remember, that's a request on our part.
I know.
When the sign goes up, it's a request
Yeah.
that they do that.
Yeah, but at least to let them know, and
Yep.
at least also to get
Can we
some.
look into a sign for that, please?
And that would be a request to DOT? As a state
Check with
road?
Mike.
Okay.
I think we put our own up, I believe, on 148, because there was always a problem with the flats.
Okay. All right, I will look into that.
Yeah.
One more question,
Yeah, I
one
think
more
there's one
addition
on
to
Fort
that.
Hill too, yes.
One
Yes,
more
sir.
addition to that,
Yep.
is there possible a way of getting the sheriff to come out here a little early in the morning, because they start at 4 o'clock in the morning?
I will-
And when the sheriff is posted out here, you don't hear nothing, well, you don't see them speeding, you don't hear jailbreaking, you don't hear,
We'll put
so
the
it's
town manager
possible.
in touch with the sheriff and see what he can do.
Yes,
We have a deputy here with us tonight who can, are you willing to speak to that?
Of course, I can take that back to
This-
my department.
Yes.
Absolutely, I'm on actually vacation tomorrow, so I will try and make a point to be out there.
Thank you. All right, thank you. All right, any other citizens' concerns, Mr. Island?
Again, my name is Jeff Ireland, and I'm a resident of Bean Street. I'm also the trail master for the Madison Hanson ATV Club. And I want to thank you for the years of support and being able to use this facility for our meetings. Also, just wanted to make a note that I have submitted a draft proposal. My timing is poor, that we are, again, interested in working toward getting some ATV access into town for the new Kennebec Valley Trail System, which opened late last season. This will be our first full season open, and we would like to be able to allow people that are traveling through town to be able to visit amenities in town, and also for allowing people that are residents of the town to get to the trail, boat trailing. So I just wanted to make a note, again, my timing is such that wasn't able to make the agenda for anything tonight, but I just wanted to make a note that we are still working toward that.
All right, thank you very much.
There-
That's something you'll bring to the town manager?
I have presented her with a draft, but at the time it was unfortunate, I wasn't able to make the agenda for the meeting.
Okay, for the next meeting?
Yes, but it was actually going to be a warrant article. Part of it is gonna be a warrant article
To the town?
to the town.
meeting?
So, yeah, and that's
Take
gonna
that
be
up.
in by May 6th
Okay.
to be printed.
All right,
So
that's
I have
something
it
we'll-
here tonight, we can talk about it if you want.
all
Is that
right,
up to you?
Take a look at it, yeah. So this is something we would take up on May 1st, when we do the budget.
Yes,
May
yes,
1st or 2nd.
we can, yes.
Yep. All right, so it's a warrant article to see if the town will vote to allow ATV access on the streets of the town of Madison Village area for residents to gain access to the Kennebec Trail, rail bed, and the proposed MDOT access route.
Yes.
Okay, so the access route, Jeff, correct me if I'm wrong, is Main Street?
Predominantly Main Street.
For Main Street?
The main DOT access road, proposed access road is predominantly Main Street. yes.
Predominantly Main Street, so this isn't, we're not talking about coming off the trail bed, heading up to the lights and taking a right and going down Old Point Avenue.
There is an eventuality to be able to do that so that all residents be able to access the.
Right, but right now, that isn't what we're talking about just yet.
Correct.
Okay, all right. Okay, so this is something we can talk about on the 1st or 2nd, or we
Yep.
could probably put on the agenda for our meeting also. Our next meeting's not till after that, was it?
Our next meeting is May 13th.
13th, okay.
So
we'll
we would
talk
have to
about
do
this on
it at the first or
when we do
second.
that. Okay, and we've talked about this many times, so this isn't new.
Right.
All right, thank you very much. All right, Selectmen's concerned, Mrs. Dwyer?
I am all set, thank you.
Mrs. Estes? I'm all set. Mr. Moody?
Good, thank
All right, I have none, looking for a motion to go into executive session pursuant to 1 MRSA 405-6A.
So moved.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to go into executive session pursuant to 1 MRSA 405-6A. All those in favor? All in favor, the motion carries.
What time?